Hey guys, this is Ray, aka Enigma, and in this video I'll be going over a custom volume indicator I created for ThinkOrSwim. This is the first Thinkscript I create and share with the public, and you'll be able to download this Thinkscript and import it into your ThinkOrSwim platform, and the link for that will be in the description box for this video. I'll also be sharing this with everybody in the Enhanced Investors community, and that is a investing community on Discord that I am part of. This is an indicator that displays volume data, and it does it in a nice visual, easy to read way, and that's what you see over here. And essentially this indicator is going to show you the current volume, average volume, and it's also going to show you volume data for the bars you're looking at, and that's going to change according to the time period in your chart. One cool thing about this indicator is that it actually changes colors when the volume reaches certain levels, and that's important because it'll allow you to visually determine if the security you're looking at has reached average volume levels or above it, and as well as if the security you're looking at has unusual volume, which is something that you should be taking a look at when you're trading, because usually if security has unusual volume, then that's going to be typically a good security to make a trade on if the price action looks favorable. So this is a simple indicator, doesn't actually plot anything on the chart, doesn't do anything fancy with the chart, but it provides you with very important volume data, and I'll be going over exactly how this works. So the indicator itself is what you see here, and it's going to have 5 boxes, and you could actually turn these on or off in the indicator options, and I'll be going over that as well. So the first one is your daily average volume, and this box will always be gray. So this is going to tell you what the daily average volume is for the security you're looking at, and that volume is based off of the last 30 days. So that does not include the current day, it just includes the average volume for the previous 30 days. The next box is going to be the current volume. So this is going to be gray when the volume is less than the daily average volume, and once it reaches the daily average volume, this box turns gold, and I'll show you what that looks like. This box also changes colors to green when the volume reaches a level of unusual volume. By default, the indicator has the unusual volume level set to 200%. So when today's volume is at 200% of the average 30-day volume, this turns green. Now that level of unusual volume is something that you can customize in the settings for the script. The next box is going to be the percentage of today's volume against the average 30-day volume. So here in this chart of AMD, the volume for today was 48 million, and the average volume is 67 million. So as you see here, AMD had 72% of its average volume today. This is another indicator that changes colors when it reaches certain volume levels. It will be white when it is essentially 0 to 99% of the average daily volume. Once it reaches that level of average daily volume, this is going to turn yellow. And this stat label is also going to change to green along with the today's volume stat, and it's going to do that when it reaches unusual volume, which again is something that you can customize in the settings for this indicator. The next label is going to be the average volume for the previous 30 bars. And this is really going to depend on how you have your chart set up. So right now I have a 1-minute chart of AMD. And essentially what that means is that every candlestick you see here is going to be 1 minute of time. So because of that, this is going to show me the average volume of the previous 30 bars, which in this case will be the previous 30 minutes. The next stats, which is the final one, is going to be the current bar. And this is again also in relation to the chart time period that you have set up. So because I'm looking at a 1 minute chart, this will show me the current bar volume for this 1 minute bar. However, if I change this to, let's say, 5 minutes, then it will show me the current bar for this current period, which is going to be a 5 minute candlestick. So this is another stat label that changes colors according to the current volume level. And the way this works as far as the colors is that it will be yellow when it is below the average 30 bar volume, and it will turn green when it is above the average 30 bar volume. And again, this average 30 bar is the previous 30 bars. It does not include the current bar. So as you see here, AMD on this last bar had 11,800 in volume, which is above the average of the previous 30 bars, so therefore it is green. Now you can turn all of these on or off, and I'll show you what that looks like in the indicator settings. So I have this indicator named as Enigma volumes or stats volume. And if you click on the settings for that, you'll see that each one of these boxes can be turned on or off. Now for day trading, I like to have all of these on, but for some of the charts, I'd like to have some of them off. So for example, on a daily chart, I usually have the bar average and the current bar volume turned off. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'll just turn this off really quick. And there you go. Now that I turned those two options off, those two stat labels disappear. So you can turn on or off any one of these volume stats. Another setting you can configure is the unusual volume percentage. So by default, as I mentioned, this indicator will have the unusual volume percent set at 200%, but you can set that at any percent you want. It could be 200, 300, or even 1,000. And you know, 1,000, it may sound like a very high number, but there are many securities that reach unusual volume levels of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, sometimes even 4,000. So, you know, it's important to set this according to what you want to be looking at for unusual volume. And all this really does is just change or controls when the color changes for these labels. So when the security you're looking at reaches whatever you have defined here for unusual volume, then these labels will change green when it reaches that level. So it's best to show you this indicator with actual intraday trading, but right now it's after market, so there's no activity going on right now. But with ThinkOrSwim, I can go back in time using the on-demand feature, and I'll do that with a stock that had very unusual volume about 2 weeks ago, and that ticker is going to be GLYC. So I'm going to pull up GLYC, and this is a chart for today. So today we see GLYC only had 31% of its average 30-day volume. So relative to the last 30 days, the volume was a bit low. But using the on-demand tool, I'm going to go back to May 19 at 9:30. So right at market open. And once you hit go on this, it takes a little bit of time for ThinkOrSwim to get this set up and going. And once you start seeing some of these candlesticks moving, then you'll know that this is working. So actually it looks like I didn't set up the time for that correctly. So I'm going to put 9:30 and hit go. All right, there we go. So we're now doing showing a chart for GLYC on May 19th. This is a day that GLYC had very unusual volume. And as you see here in the indicator, right at market open, it already had 55% of its average 30-day volume. And very quickly, this ticker gets up to 100% of its average volume. And then shortly after, it'll get to unusual volume levels, which are currently configured and are set to 200%. So I'm just going to let this run a little bit just so you can see how this changes. And as you see here, the current bar label is shown in green, and that's because it is above the average 30-day bar volume, or rather average 30 bar volume. So in a moment here, this will change to yellow, indicating that it has reached the daily average volume, and you'll see that here in a second. Just gonna give that a little bit of time. And this is something I use every day. I think it's very important to look at this data. And while you can look at this data with some indicators provided by ThinkOrSwim, I think that with the indicators out of the box, it is a little bit difficult to determine this quickly, especially if you're looking at these numbers here that ThinkOrSwim has. These numbers, these labels are very small. So with this indicator, it's a little bit more bold, a little bit bigger and clearer to see. So as you see, GOYC on this day at this time reached the average volume. Therefore, these two labels turned yellow, and that lets you know that this security you're looking at has exceeded the average 30-day volume. Now I'm going to forward this a little bit to, I think, let's do it at 5 minutes after market open. And I think that's around the time that GOYC reached unusual volume. So again, this takes a little bit of time to get set up and going, but once you start seeing some candlestick activity, you'll know that this is running. So here we go. This is at 9:35, so just 5 minutes after market open, and already GOYC has 190% of its average 30-day volume. And in just a few seconds, this should be reaching unusual volume, and you'll see how this changes colors. So I'll just let that run for a little bit. So right now we got 199. And there we go, 200. So when you see this, when you're trading, you'll know that this security that you're looking at has reached whatever you determine to be unusual volume. And it lets you know that not only by showing you the percentage, but by changing color, which I think is very useful. It's a nice visual way to quickly see these changes in volume. Now, if I were to change the unusual volume level in the indicator settings, you'll see that this changes colors again. So I'm going to increase that value, and I'm going to set it, oops, that's not the right place. I'm going to set it to 1000%. So you can see how that changes back to yellow. So right here, I'll just type in 1000, hit OK, and that goes back to yellow. And if we advance this chart a little bit more, let's try 11 a.m. And already at 11 a.m., GOYC had 15 or 1,500% of its average daily volume. And because I set the unusual volume level to 1,000%, then the indicator shows that by essentially just changing the color to green. So that's it. It's a simple indicator, but it's a very useful indicator. If you like this indicator, let me know. Make sure to leave any comments or questions or concerns in this YouTube video and in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe because I will be creating more videos like this and creating more Thinkscripts that I'll be sharing with the public. And of course, if you like this indicator and like this video, make sure to like the video on YouTube. All right, until next time, keep on trading and make sure to lock in profits whenever you can. And stay tuned to this channel for more trading videos.